What's up, guys? Sorry it's been a minute. There hasn't really been a lot going on in the world of Spellbreak. And I know I'm a little bit late to this. My apologies. My PC was having some issues able to record or edit. And today it's actually, I don't even remember when this post came out, like 4 days ago. We are like behind 3 days ago. And the reply was like 3 days ago as well. So anyways, we're behind and we're gonna catch up on two things, which is some info from the devs and some more info from the devs. One was procced by our friend Lewis, which is Talkohsss is twitch.tv/Talkohsss, TALKOH 3 S's, SSS. So Talkohsss posted on Reddit a bunch of things that he finds to be problematic within the game and things that we kind of want as a player base. And him and myself have had a lot of conversations about this in the past few weeks and past year and on about Spellbreak. But this post shares a lot of the same opinions as I do. So I'll put the post in the link below. I'll also put his Twitter and his Twitch as well. But this post is very long, so we're not going to read his post, but we will respond. We will read the response from Jesse, by the way, and Jesse is the design director for Proletariat, so we will go over that. There's also a post from Smiley about their store, their kind of like philosophy on their cosmetics and stuff like that, because there have been a few cosmetic faux pas, to say, in the past couple weeks. Between the prologue reward in the store and the elemental based class skin for Pyro coming out without any knowledge of it prior. So go. My stream deck is actually currently not plugged in, so we're just gonna have to click over. Here we go. So this is Lewis's post. Talks about the 1.2 update, ideas to make them better, balance, ideas to make balance better, content and progression, ideas to make that better, game modes and communication, TLDR. He doesn't want to have a TLDR, so go read that shit. I'm gonna post this in the comments, like I said, or not in the comments, in the description, like I said. But I will read this to you guys. We're all kind of nervous for the game. The initial launch hype is completely gone, along with players and the viewers. We're all wondering what's your next move, but it's been very quiet from you guys, which makes us more nervous. We love you guys and we trust you. From our side, we can't help but think, what are they going to do? As we watch the game we love slowly fizzle out. We love you guys, we love this game. So one of the things that I like to talk about is I have faith in Proletariat. I have full faith in them. However, not having communication stresses literally everybody out. It feels like things aren't going where we want to. We don't know what's happening, and we don't really want to know everything that's happening. We don't want to know specifics, but we do want to know, like, hey, do you know that balance needs problems? Do you know that balance needs fixing? Do you know that progression is non-existent? Like, do you know our concerns? Do you hear us? And so one of the things that I love about this post that Jesse made is they hear us. Here's what they're working on. So if you scroll down, first of all, Happy is right there. Hello, Happy, I love you, buddy. So then you go to Proletariat Sloth, design director, and he says, hi, thanks for the coffee post. There's a lot wrapped up in here. I won't be able to respond to a lot of it for a variety of reasons. Plans aren't firm. Don't want to announce stuff buried in the comment of a random post. Not my place to talk about, and more. But let's see what I can talk about. I'm going to break down I'm going to break from your order because I think about things differently. So I hope that's okay. So balance and progression. It shouldn't be especially surprising that there are changes coming to a lot of the stuff you and others have mentioned, as well as some things you haven't. I don't want to talk about them in any details since they're still subject to change, but Recovery, Pyro, Frostborn, what? Tempest, Lightning, Ice, Stone, and a bunch of other things are being touched in a variety of ways next release. So I want to say, like, the first thing that he says is it shouldn't be especially surprising that there are changes coming to a lot of stuff that we've talked about. Whereas, yes, we shouldn't be surprised. I think it's like when we don't know and we haven't been told, I think people just like forget that this is their job. Like, this is what they do. They know what the problems are. They're in streams They read the data, they see how good players are. They're like, they know things, right? So like, this is their job. They're obviously going to change things, but it has been at this point, I want to say like 5 months since like a real balance change, minus like a Tempest change at launch. I think 2 Tempest change at launch. I could be wrong on that, but, and let's break down what he says. Recovery right now is disgusting. I think it's way like, I think one of the things that we thought initially going into release and prologue with like the not release but prologue with the new talents is that ambidextrous was going to be, or it was going to be broken, but it really hasn't shined very bright because recovery is in the same slot, and recovery is just so good, and it's just something that people take. And I think one change would either switch the spots of ambi and recovery, although ambi I feel like could be problematic if it was in the 2 slot, or just nerfing recovery and leaving it in the 2 slot, which I think is probably what they'll lead more to. Pyro, I really hope this is a combust change. We've talked about this so many times. If it's not a combust change, I really hope that it's like they're actually making use of the rest of the class, because the rest of the class is very lackluster. I think the only reason that people even play Pyro, unlike myself and like the true Fire players that played for a long time, we use it mainly for Firefly and Ignite. But I think most of the majority of the players that play Pyro is so that they can miss and do a hell of just a ton of damage. So I really hope they drop Combust down and then change like Paralysis and Conflag, or get rid of them and bring in something else. Frostborn, I really don't know what they could be doing. Maybe making the donut a complete dome, or I don't know. I really don't know. Tempest, I think Tempest needs some more horizontal movement. Other than that, I think it's good, except for that stupid sound when you land on Squall. Please get rid of that sound. It's basically like telling a toxicologist that they're not invisible anymore. Like Tempests know they're on the ground. Like you don't need the sound. The sound is literally for only other people. And so what I want to make a point about here is that they talk about 3 classes and then they talk about 3 gauntlets. So Pyro is the class, Fire is the gauntlet. Frostborn is the class, Ice is the gauntlet. Tempest is the class, Wind is the gauntlet. So these next 3, Lightning is the gauntlet. Conduit is the class for Lightning. Ice is Frostborn, and Stone is for Stone Shaper. So the fact that he says Lightning, Ice, and Stone very much points to the gauntlets themselves. They're not going to screw up the terminology here. So this is for Lightning, which if they fix Lightning or change Lightning in however way, one of the ways that we've wanted for a long time, I'm going to be so incredibly thankful. Ice, I don't really know what they could change to Ice to make me, I really hope, I wanted them to go back to kind of how it used to play and just lower the damage, so it's more of like a mid-ish long range like combat though, instead of like a sniper where it does less damage but it's way more snappy, way more fun to use. Stone is a huge problem, but not to the main player base of experienced players. It's more of an issue for brand new players who just don't want to get over that hurdle of, oh my god, this gauntlet is so stupidly broken that I just don't want to worry about it, when we all know that it's really just positioning and stuff like that. So however, it is a noob check gauntlet, and I don't think that something like that is necessarily needed or wanted in this kind of game. So I hope they just like tone it down, and we'll see how that goes. And a bunch of other things are being touched in a variety of ways next release. I don't even know where to begin with that. But as for progression, yeah, I feel you. Prologue was intended to be easy, fast, but coming out of the same time of Clash made it even faster. Yeah, them 2 together just was like done. It's over. Well, that ship has already sailed, so they admit right here that like maybe this wasn't the best plan. There's some other stuff underway to address the need for stuff to do / earn. Some might even sneak into the next release, but it's a long shot. So my thought on this is like, some might even sneak into the next release, but it's a long shot. I thought next release was going to be chapters, but this makes it sound like they might have a release before chapters, because if there's not more stuff to do / earn in the chapters of 12 weeks long, that's going to be incredibly bad. Like, I just think that's going to be a really bad move if they don't up that. We'll see. I really hope that by this he means a release before chapters. So we'll see. But yeah, I think like Clash just kind of killed BR, and Prologue was done for most people in like a week and a half, 2 weeks. Not to mention the quests that take a game and a half. for the most part. And then you have game modes. I can't really say anything about this yet. I know this isn't satisfying, but like you said, hey, we know you guys are looking forward to a new game mode. Can't tell you anything yet, but we are working on one. Stay tuned. They are working on a game mode. So it's funny that he says, like, I know this isn't satisfying. This is very, very satisfying, Jesse. Just knowing that you guys hear our concerns and tell us what you're like. You're just like, it's even if you're just like, yo, I wrote down on my notepad today, game mode. That's honestly, like, that's enough for me to know that it's coming, to like actually know that it's actually coming. And I hope that these game modes are not just like LTMs that are in the BR world. I hope it's like an actual game mode, because Clash is fine, but it's basically just a waiting room with a scoreboard, right? It's not something that we like really. I play like one game and I'm like, God, I don't want to play this anymore. Give me back BR, but BR's slow right now because people are playing Clash. But I really hope it's like an actual game mode and not just a game mode inside the BR like Clash is. Communication. This one is trickier, honestly. My actual job keeps me fairly busy, so my focus for player-facing communication is generally on larger, more in-depth, one-way write-ups to be posted here or in various other venues, or very quick Twitter responses if I see them. It's not the dialogue that you're looking for, I realize, and I'm not sure how to really address the outside of one-off AMA dev chat type dealies. Honestly, like, one thing that like I think they think is that we want like these huge answers of like constant teases and stuff like that. I think, like, honestly, like if I post something or somebody posts something on Twitter or like this post right here for one thing, like hey, Stone is dumb, like, just, I hear you. I don't know, like anywhere to like a like on a post or like anything. I know that a lot of things like a retweet, or I've actually had this conversation with Jesse before, like a retweet or like a like or a comment on something, a lot of people will take that as like, oh my gosh, a retweet is confirmation, a like is confirmation, a comment on here is confirmation. Like, I don't know how to help that situation. But he says one terrible idea, but since he's said this, he's actually been doing this, and I love this idea. One terrible idea. Every morning, almost everyone in the community, or the company, not community, puts a message in our internal chat about what they're working on that day. In the past, I've half joked that I could slightly sanitize mine and post it publicly, but I suspect it would be the most boring thing imaginable, e.g. Fridays was UI sync, PO sync, interview wrap, combat retro, redacted sync, product review, combat planning, 30M for lunch, woo. And Thursdays was X1 kickoff, ×2 interviews, 3X forward-looking meetings. I love this idea because it while we might not really understand what this is, it's still like they're there, they're working, they're doing something. It's like a reminder, like, hey, they haven't just like left the game, they haven't just forsaken the game. It's a reminder, like, that, hey, they're still doing what they need to do. They're not like just letting the game coast and die off. Like, they're actually still doing stuff. They're working on things to change them, to get them better, or to completely rework something, or maybe just like a small little, like, I don't know. Instantly after the store, cosmetics goes up this week. I've got a write-up brewing on balance, design, progression, and some other small stuff. So he's going to be giving a new post. So this store's cosmetics post is what we're actually go into in a second up here. Just keep that in mind, that he says after that post, which was today, I've got a write-up brewing on balance and design, progression, and some other stuff. So that's coming there as well. As for the long haul, that's a whole different conversation. From a player perspective, it's hard to see longer wait times for matches or diminished Twitch streams and not panic. It's just as hard from a developer's POV, but the key difference is that we're tasked with seeing a way forward and building towards it. All we can ask is that you trust us and stick with us, or just check in from time to time. A few weeks ago, I told someone on Twitter that we might not always agree about a part of the game or a decision around it, but I'd always be honest with y'all, which is very true. If you ever talk to Jesse, he's very, very honest with what you've said. And that's one of the things I absolutely love about this guy. That's still the case. Just a little bit of Sunday morning insight that hopefully makes things a smidge more clear, and it did. I really appreciate you, Jesse. Thank you for taking the time out to even respond to this, because there are a lot of devs out there that they'll see a post like this and they'll be like, oh, okay, maybe they're right, and then they'll just like not say anything. This kind of thing is huge, and just any kind of insight into y'all's world at Proletariat is huge. Like hey, this is what coffee I'm having. I don't care. Like, just like any kind of like reminder, like, hey, we're here. You know, I think is huge. So today, 11/11, we get this cosmetics post. We're not gonna read the whole thing just because it's super. It's sort of long. It's from Miley, but I'll post it in the comments or the description if you want to read it. But he talks about trust starts with gameplay. Trust means straightforward pricing, like no loot crates, stuff like that. If 100 gold, something is 100 gold, then it should be 100 gold. Like there's no other way to get it. We want to earn your trust by ensuring that everyone has access to the core Spellbreak experience. Well, Spellbreak is, I will read this one. While Spellbreak is free to play, every player should feel like they are able to play the full version of the game. In other words, we want everyone to participate in not just the chapter system, but the premium chapter pass system. And we're taking several measures to make that happen. This next paragraph is why I'm reading this on here. We made the prologue free so every player could start exploring more of the HoloLands while earning gold and cosmetic rewards. We're planning to make the chapter pass cost 1,000 gold, which is equivalent to $10 in chapter 1, and you can earn thousands of gold just by playing the game. We'll also be bundling the chapter pass for free into our $25 and $100 gold purchases. So I guess not the middle one, but the 25 or 100, maybe the middle one, and it's just not in there. But that means if you buy $25 worth of gold, you get the chapter pass for free. If you buy $100 of gold, then you get chapter pass for free. This kind of makes me think that maybe there's like a new bundle. Maybe we're also bundling the chapter pass in. Maybe it's just like the normal gold purchases, but and then you go over here. There are some limits, of course. The cosmetic items contained in a founder pack are exclusive to those packs and will never be earned in any way. We'll also be releasing a pair of outfits in the 2.0. Oh, that answers my question. 2.0 that are exclusive to our 25 and 99 chapter 1 gold packs. These chapter packs come with the typical 2,800 and 13,500 gold for those purchase values, as well as chapter passes that help you earn chapter reputation 50% or 100% faster. Okay, so it's not like the typical you can buy levels of battle pass. You still have to play the battle pass, but you have 50% more reputation growth and 100% more 100% faster. We've added these reputation gain bonuses instead of the level head start you may expect for $25. We believe our bonuses are more player friendly and more value for your money. Plus, it makes you actually play the game, which is something that we've wanted for a long time, which is progression, which is something that Lewis hinted in the last thing. So that makes me think there's gonna be 2 new skins within bundles, and you get the chapter for free when you buy those skins. So use a code. It doesn't have to be my code. My code's it's Ohpee, just like Twitch and everywhere else, but you can use other ones. There are a lot of creators in the Spellbreak community that have codes. If you like one, use that one. But please, please, please use someone's code if you're gonna buy these. But yeah, so those are the core principles. Maintain the integrity of the core gameplay, straightforward pricing, and open the core Spellbreak experience to as many players as possible. We're excited to show you more about the upcoming Chapter 1 release. It's going to bring you well over a dozen radically new outfits, and the pace of item releases in the store will increase as well. Keep that in mind. Right now, it's pretty slow, right? It won't be. We're going to make mistakes along the way. It's hard to balance what you get for big or small purchases, let alone how those rewards compare to what you get for your time. If something doesn't sit right with you, we want to know. So if something doesn't sit right with you, like the price of things, or this doesn't feel like it should be that expensive, let them know. What we've learned is that they do see everything. They might not respond to everything, which is hard to do, but I really think that they might start to do it a little bit more, because communication in a community like this is very, very important, and they know that. If something doesn't sit right with you, we want to know, and we want to thank you for taking the time to let us know. For our part, we'll continue to listen, to acknowledge when we've made mistakes, and to adhere to principles we've laid out in this post. So these kind of things is something we need. Like, they don't have to be this long. It could be literally like a post like, hey, blah, 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 blah. Something that Lewis talked about heavily was communication. And this kind of post coming right after that is huge, and I love that. Plus, remember, we've got another post coming from Jesse that is going to be about balance, redesign, or design, progression, and other similar stuff. And he has been doing this terrible idea that he talks about. If you go to his Twitter right here, like here's one from today. What I'm doing on Spellbreak today: art review, midterm planning, redacted, data, format, feedback. Refamiliarize myself with the new and existing quest mechanics and how we're using them for chapter 2. Not 1, chapter 2. So I don't know if they already did it for chapter 1 or if they're just gonna leave chapter 1 as it is. But, which I would assume with having to have such a high lead up time for all 4 of the companies, as in Sony, Epic, Microsoft, and Switch, Nintendo Switch, you're gonna have to have that done earlier than you want, I would think. So, so here's another one. Matchmaking, UI, IT, greenlight, and combat meetings. Commenting up specs ahead of greenlight. Suspect I'm also on the hook for writing up some interview answers, but TBD. This is something that I don't think people really realize helps a community, and I'm glad that he's doing it, whether he thought it was a joke or not. It's huge. And Jesse, thank you. Guys, if they don't do a balance change before chapter 1, if they don't do any kind of change before chapter 1, it's going to be a long couple of weeks, long month. I think we're at 4 weeks, maybe 4.5. It's gonna be a long time. Strap in, play the game, and remember that things are changing. It's hard for me to do that as well. I mean, today I got off and I raged a little bit. Remember that the game is it's in the right direction, and the game is really learning how to walk. I saw this on Twitter. I think it was Marcus that said the game is learning to walk. I don't remember who it was, but games fall. When you're learning to walk, things fall. Like, go watch a video of a baby giraffe crawling out of his mom and learning how to walk. It's like, it's not pretty. It's not easy. Stumbles happen, but they will fix it. They'll get there, and you just gotta trust them. Continue doing what you want. If you don't want to play the game, keep an eye on it. Like, I do believe that the game is going to do very well. And I was in Cyber's chat, CyberPK, if you don't know, I was in CyberPK chat like yesterday or the day before. I remember I resubbed. He then asked me how the lobbies were, and he said, be honest. I was like, I don't want to be honest. And he kind of laughed, and then he had some good words about Spellbreak, and how he really loves the game, and he really sees it doing very well, and they have some good stuff in the pipeline. So have an open mind, pay attention to it. You don't have to play it. Like, he's not playing it right now. You don't have to play it, but keep an open mind, keep in contact. Don't just spew random nonsense everywhere that you don't necessarily know. They are testing marketing. They tested marketing with Muselk and Fresh in Australia. They're gonna move around internationally. I think we'll probably see more content creator, streamer, and YouTube videos to come in the future. So remember that these next 4 weeks are gonna be a little bit rough with new games coming out. Go play them, venture out if you want to. Don't stick around and play a game that you don't necessarily like if you don't want to, but just keep an eye on it. Go have fun in other realms if you need to. Take a break. I'll try to keep these videos. I'm gonna keep my PC, I think, specifically for that, while I take my other PC back and get some things fixed out, but hopefully a new video coming out soon. There's more info. Guys, see you soon.